why did you actually choose to follow him? So obviously you've got you've got a Christian background, where your parents are Christian, you came to church as a toddler, etc. But why did you, that was your parents choosing. Yeah. Why did you choose to follow him? And why do you continue to choose to follow him?
It goes back to from, the beginning where I touched about just the experience and the encounter that I did have with Jesus. And it's an encounter that I've never ever forget.
Okay.
Because I just didn't expect it really.
Tell us so that we don't forget it.
So I went to a Christian camp.
Yeah.
Some of you might be aware, called Soul Survivor.
Okay.
And went with a bunch of friends that I had at church. I'm a youth pastor.
Okay.
And I came along to see what it was all about.
Yeah.
And I guess during that time of the whole week, I think there was a question that was raised. I can't remember what it was, but I remember just my response of me saying that I would never cry for Jesus, or haven't cried for Jesus.
Okay.
So I always remember that because what he did on the night broke me down into tears. Yeah, it was just one of those situations where, when you have just the tears and the bogey just all over your face. It was.
How old were you?
I was 16 at the time.
Okay.
And it was quite an experience because I just felt him and I felt his presence, just over me. And I guess I never had that experience before.
Like you physically felt him?
Like yeah, it's like he was, like I was on the floor and...
How did you get there?
That's just the Holy Spirit, which we'll touch on in very short episodes. But all I know is just I was on the floor, and I was just in floods of tears because I felt like he was just revealing things about, just the cross and why he did it for me, I know he did it for everybody. But
why would that make you cry though?
Because of just the pain that he went through on the cross.
You were able to identify with it more.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said before at the start, I didn't really identify much with it in my early days of, knowing who Jesus was. And so it became more real to me at that moment because I felt like I could identify that, he went on the cross and he suffered for this, my sins. And, and after that, experiencing and feeling that what he suffered, it's like I felt his love and his presence just over me and just hugging me. And like, in a sense, kind of dry my tears, but I was still kind of in floods of tears about the whole entire situation. And because of just that encounter and experience and that just revelation that he is the Son of God and, he did walk on this earth and what he actually did, it just made me decide that I want to follow him.
That's amazing.
Just off that experience, it just made me think, you can't take away an experience like that.
No.
Because when you have an experience, you never forget it.
No.
And it just stays with you. And because of that experience, I was just, it kind of still gives me a bit of goosebumps right now, but it just never went away from me at all. And, that's when I decided to follow.
That's amazing.
No, that was probably a pretty long-winded answer,
but I think it's the fullness of the experience, though. And I think that it must be difficult to not follow him if you go through that. Yeah. Because it's almost like whatever you've been reading about, whatever you've been following, actually becomes real. Yeah, it comes to life. It just becomes very tangible in your life. This is part of your experience. So to deny him after that would be it would be silly.
It would be wrong of me. It felt, I don't know if it's like a similar experience of, what Nathaniel had with Jesus. And I remember his story where he was underneath the fig tree and, he came out to meet Jesus or, his brother, or I can't remember who he was, said that, he found the Messiah, and he said, someone can't be the Messiah, comes from Nazareth, but he brought him to Jesus. And then obviously Jesus spoke about, I saw you underneath the fig tree. But Nathaniel obviously didn't see a physical, that person, underneath the fig tree. And it's, I just had an encounter of, Jesus, and it was mind blowing.
I think that's amazing. And you know what? I pray that more people have encounters like that, because it kind of shows that Jesus is actually alive today.
Yeah.
Because this isn't something that happens during the time that he was walking on the earth with his disciples and etc.
Yeah.
This happened many, many, many years afterwards.
Yeah.
And it just is a testimony really that, you know what, Jesus is just as alive today, and he's actually making a difference in lives today.
Yeah.
As he was doing back then.
Yeah.
And I just think that's amazing. And I think, like, you know, I pray that more people have encounters with Jesus.
Yeah.
And I pray that if you haven't encountered it, it doesn't just stop there. That you continue to seek him so that you can get him more and more and more.
Yeah.
So I just think that, again, like, thanks for that testimony. Again, I think that's amazing. And do you know what? This is what we want to do. We want to bring more testimonies. We want to bring things to life, really. We want to share our experiences with you. So it might remind some of you guys about some of the things that you went through. It might remind you of who your first love is. It might actually encourage you to get back to where you were before. Maybe you were in a particular place with God before. Maybe you had a particular sort of relationship with God before where you actually spent time with him before.
Yeah.
Because if you remember how that was there, isn't that something that you'd want to experience a little bit more regularly?
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because I haven't heard you talk like that, Jermaine. Like, I know that you're sold out for Christ and that, you know, you believe in God and things like that, etc. But that is brilliant. And, you know, as your friend, I would love to hear more in relation to experiences like that. Because if you did it then, I believe that you can do it today.
Guess that's why we are bringing it to the table.